I would like now to welcome our witnesses today.
At a parliamentary committee investigating Russian interference, this former senior conservative minister dropped a bombshell.
For decades, Moscow has been recruiting and paying policymakers, influencers, politicians, journalists, and others to act as their proxies.
Chris Alexander claimed that veteran Canadian journalist David Pugliese was recruited by the KGB more than 3 decades ago to be a Russian agent. As evidence, Alexander presented what he says are KGB archival documents from 1984 to 1990, when Pugliese was just starting out as a journalist. The KGB officers discussed plans to recruit Pugliese, whom they described as sympathetic to the Soviet cause.
These records document a KGB operation to talent spot, recruit, develop, and run as an agent.
Well, when I saw that it was a rollover, I immediately...
For 35 years, Pugliese has worked for the Ottawa Citizen, now owned by Post Media, becoming one of its senior journalists, writing articles on defense and security, including a lot of stories on Ukraine.
His recent subjects are instructive. Countless stories about Ukraine's Nazi links or Nazis in Canada. These are themes that Moscow would be delighted to promote.
Alexander says there's every reason to believe Pugliese has continued his work as a Russian agent. Pugliese denies that he ever was a Russian agent.
I was never approached by anybody, Russians, Chinese, you name it. And no, I'm not a Russian spy.
Nor, he says, has he ever been questioned by CSIS or police.
This is an attack on my journalism. I am a journalist who reports on the military, and my reporting upsets a lot of people.
And he believes the KGB documents are fake.
Earlier this year, Global News received what appear to be the same KGB documents. 8 pages, they're copies, not originals, and we were unable to independently verify their authenticity. But several experts told us that while it's impossible to say for certain, these documents appear to be real.
One piece of evidence...
This former RCMP officer runs a document forensics firm.
There were a number of things that really jumped out.
He says everything from the typewriter and fountain pens to the rubber stamps are consistent with KGB documents from that time.
The most logical conclusion by far is that these are in fact authentic documents.
But experts say just as critical is what the documents don't say.
There's no smoking gun here. Nothing in these documents clearly says that this individual was even approached, or certainly says that that approach was successful. All they do is say this is something worth exploring.
By making those allegations at a parliamentary committee, Chris Alexander is protected from any legal prosecution, and he declined our request for an on-camera interview. In the meantime, Pugliese has also asked for standing at the committee to share his side of the story, and says so far he hasn't received a response. Jeff Semple, Global News, Toronto.